Hey everybody, so I'm back and I want to do a long overdue garden update. The garden is a little bit of a mess right now. I planned a trip to Alabama like right in the middle of March, so it kind of split my springtime planning up, and I didn't do anything until I just got back yesterday. So yeah, I'm probably a month behind in here. The weeds are terrible. I haven't done anything all winter or all spring. Some of that's laziness. Again, some of it's part of the Alabama trip. But everything I've got going on in here right now is overwintered stuff. And since I've got 5 beds, I'll just kind of go through and show you. Everything's got a little bit of something in it. Some of it more than others. So we'll just go through and see what looks good and what didn't. Pardon the chicken. So just a quick overview of the beds. Some of them are grown up worse than others. I'm not too worried about the weeds. A lot of it, that big stuff, is this right here. It's wild sorrel. I can get that out pretty easy. Kind of interested in this wild sorrel for kind of a permaculture application, but yeah, just pardon the weeds. You'll have to excuse the chickens, like they're being really loud right now. But this first bed is something, a little bit of an experiment that I did with the overwintered, well, the garlic, which is always overwintered obviously, but I wanted to grow them immature and harvest them immature. So here we go. They grew and they grew fine, and to be fair, they had a pretty rough winter and they're still gonna take off now that it's starting to get warm. Let's pull one up just to give you an idea if you haven't been watching. I got a good root system. Actually, I've harvested some of these. I've had to dig out on both sides to get them to where I get the entire bottom. So what I was wanting is like this. You can see the garlic hasn't started to divide any or make cloves. And so I basically have a small leek thing. We did this last year sort of accidentally, and it's got a really great flavor. Had a lot of rain right now, and I think it's watered down the flavor and diluted it. So it's not as impressive as last year, and they're not as big. Much to talk about in this next bed. Had some Mizuna that I thought it got killed. It got froze back really hard. Now it's gone to seed. You see it over here. I've already had a lot of pollinators in here. Got to get this up. And also had some arugula in the other half of the bed, which I also thought was killed by the cold. But it's come back, and it came back really healthy and really tasty. So I'll probably let it go for a little while, but this is, I think Sylvia is the name of this variety, and it's really good, but I just didn't think the yield was that great, so I don't know if I'll do it again. So this bed here, I was trying something with the interplanting, and you see some pretty decent looking red Russian kale, and what I did was did a row with the Jang cedar, red Russian kale, icicle radish, red Russian kale, and so on till I filled the bed up. And it kind of worked like I wanted. Got a lot of radishes, and most of them did what I wanted and killed, like winter killed out and rotted in the soil. And I'm hoping that really pumped a lot of nutrients back into the soil, just like a tillage radish would. And I think it may have, because the kale is looking awesome. So something really interesting here at the very end is I had a little bit of genetic variation. I don't know if this is a genetic mutation or what of the red Russian, but let me get it over here where we can see it better. So here we have them side by side. Here's the little weird one, and here's a normal one. So they do sell some Kale varieties in the white and the purple that are sort of like this, and I imagine this is how they came about. They were just some kind of sport from the normal strains. We'll taste it right quick just to see. So here's the little weird one. It's what you would expect. Tastes like kale. just really cool looking, and you're doing salads or something, might add a really cool look to the salad, fluff it up a little bit. But yeah, you know, one plant. I probably could let it go to seed and see if it came back true to type. I'm not going to, but it's just cool to see some weird stuff like that sometimes. Well, here's a carrot bed. I think this probably was one of my biggest successes, and I've harvested a lot of the pretty ones out of here. I've got the purple mustard down there at the end that sort of came up volunteer. Been harvesting that. But down here, let's find a decent one. This is yellow bunch. Yeah, I've got a whole variety video put together on these that I'll show you, and I'll show you a harvest of some of the nicer ones that I got about a week ago. Last row here, I'll finish up with a lot of radishes here going to seed, and it was supposed to be an interplanting of chard, some kind of rainbow chard, and radishes, French breakfast radish. That chicken's not supposed to be in here. Anywho, got a good harvest of radishes. These didn't winter kill. They're not fit to eat, but they seem to not winter kill as well as the icicle ones. I could let these go to seed just for the pollinators, but I'm probably going to yank them out and see what of the chard makes it and let it have a good spring flush. So that's what's going on in the garden. If you made it this far, right before I left Alabama, I harvested a pretty good harvest of shiitakes off of my logs, and I'll do a quick little harvest clip at the end so you can see that. They weren't that pretty, like they were misshapen, but a lot of big ones and quite a few shiitakes for just a little, you know, a little side project. So hope y'all enjoyed that. I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all be good. Bye. Not bad at all. I gotta take a picture of this and send it to my friend that told me to look. I would have went off to Alabama and all of these guys would have ruined, and how sad would that be? So looks like I may get to make some of my kinfolk some of the squash mushroom soup like I made in a video not long ago. Awesome. Haha.